guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the July wrap up. I read 4 books during July, which I'm happy with, averaging about a book a week. And this month I really dipped into a lot of different genres. So let's dive straight in. First of all, I just want to say a quick hello and welcome to all of the new subscribers. This is a brand new channel. So if you like this type of content, please do hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, comment, let me know where you're watching from, what you're currently reading. Things like that really do help with small channels in terms of the YouTube algorithm. So the first book that I read was called The Four Leaf, and that was on Kindle Unlimited. Now this was just a small novella type. I think it was like 200 pages, less than 200 pages, really short, really simple read. And I was really looking for something that was kind of a spicy romance, something that I could read quickly and then move on from. So this one came up in my suggested reads for Kindle Unlimited, so I thought, let's give it a go. So this book was a childhood friend's unrequited love scenario. So we had the main character who was deeply in love with her childhood best friend, didn't think that it was going to be reciprocated. Now the thing that I liked about this book was the love interest. And in this case, this guy was a giant, great big rugby playing hunk of a man. And that is something that I can get on board with. So the main character owns a hotel with her sister, and her best friend, this rugby player, also is an owner in the hotel, so he comes back all the time to help out. And over the course of the St. Patrick's Day celebration, they end up falling in love. It is quite spicy. This book was really fast-paced. It was, oh, I kind of like him, does he like me? Oh, he does, let's sleep together. But in a short book like this, that's what you expect. That's what you want, right? In this, a quick in and out job. So I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. It was fine. It was an okay read. It's not something that I would be raving about, but it wasn't terrible either. Next, I started Fourth Wing, which I have been wanting to read for a while. I've seen a lot of people talking about this book on TikTok and on YouTube as well. And so I was really excited to get this and start this. This book is The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I really enjoyed this book. It is fantasy. When I first started reading it, it felt very YA to me, which is not normally something that I gravitate towards. However, when you get to the couple of sex scenes at the end, it's definitely not YA. So in this book, Violet has just started training in the Riders Quadrant. This is like a fantasy military situation. And you could choose to be a healer. You could choose to be a scribe. But Violet chose, well, she was forced to go into the Riders Quadrant by her mum, who was really high up, who is a really high ranking person within the organisation already, and everyone else in her family had all been a rider, so she got pushed into it. Now riders are definitely the badass. They are the ones that get paired with a dragon, they go fighting, really cool, really physical. In order to become a rider and get the chance to be paired with a dragon, you have to go through all these trials and tasks, and they're pretty much designed to weed out the weak, so you either pass them or you die. There's no in between. But if you survive, at the end of it you get the chance to be paired with a dragon, and the dragon gets to pick which human they want to be paired with, and when you pair with them they can talk to you, and like, so cool. There is also an enemies to lover situation with Violet and a guy called Zayden, which was a nice touch all the way through. It was nice to have that kind of following through the story, but honestly for me, I just wanted to know about the dragons. I wanted to get to the bits where the riders were on the backs of the dragons and they were fighting and fire breathing and swooshing of tails and this story definitely ended on a cliffhanger. I think the second book is due out in November time, so I will be grabbing that to give that a read. So I rated The Fourth Wing 4 out of 5. So after quite a heavy fantasy book, I really wanted something completely different. So I wanted to come back more into the normal world. So I chose The Silent Patient as my next read. I actually really enjoyed this book. This story begins with Alicia Berenson, who has seemingly just killed her husband. She has refused to talk or can't talk since that happened. So rather than being sent to prison, she gets sent to a psychiatric hospital. And this book is then narrated by the psychotherapist who specifically gets a job at this facility so that he can work with Alicia, because he thinks that he can unpick and make her talk again and make her say exactly what happened and why she killed her husband. There is a big twist at the end, which honestly I didn't see coming until we were right upon it, and then I was like, oh. So for me, as a psychological thriller, it hit all the points that I needed it to hit. I know that there has been some criticism of this book, saying that it doesn't portray psychiatric facilities in the best light. From my experience, and I have a family member that has been in these types of facilities for probably about 40 odd years, maybe more than that at this point now. And from visiting, especially more so when I was a child, there's a lot of characters in this book that I recognise from my time visiting these types of places. But, you know, everybody is entitled to their criticisms. But for me, I really enjoyed this. I thought this book was a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Now, the last book that I read in July was by far my favourite, which is surprising considering that I've given 2 of the other books 4 out of 5. What you'll notice is I don't really give out 5s that often. It has to be something very special to me for me to give that out. So, the final book that I read in July was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. If you've watched any of my other videos, you will know that I am a big fan of Madeline's writing style. This is based on Greek mythology. It is the story of Achilles and Patroclus. It is told from the point of view of Patroclus. It very much focuses on the love affair between the two of them, having met as boys and then as they grow into men. And I just thought it was just really beautiful, the love between these two men that really couldn't be severed and it couldn't be changed, and it was just everlasting. And we follow them as young boys, so when Patroclus is exiled by his father and originally goes to live with Achilles, and then as they're growing up, and then of course the war against Troy where they go to try and rescue Helen. I won't give too much away if you've not read it, but the end made me sad. Then it made me happy. Now I know that from some of the reviews that I read on Goodreads about this book that there is again criticism. Well, there's always criticism about every book, isn't there? But that it really doesn't showcase the characters in the way that they were originally meant to be portrayed. That there is some feminization of the characters, and there was a few people that I read on there that had taken some offence to that Patroclus in particular. The Iliad was very masculine. He was a warrior in his own right, and in this book not so much. But for me, with the retelling of mythology, I'm just looking to enjoy this author's interpretation of that story. But I am definitely going to go and read the Iliad because I'm interested to see how different the characters are. But even still, just as a standalone story, I thought that this was fantastic. So I gave The Song of Achilles 5 out of 5 stars. Now, very nearly had 5 books last month because I started Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, but I haven't finished that yet. So I'm not going to add that. That will be added to August's read. Coming up this month, I have another book haul because I have ordered yet more books. I'm going to also be doing a video with my daughter. I think she wants to jump in, and we're going to be discussing books from the perspective of a teenager and a not teenager. So if you have enjoyed this video, if you love book content and you want to stick around, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up. As always, comment, let me know where you're watching from, what you're currently reading, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.